Hello, everyone. So, I thought what I'd do is a little video about me, and so you can understand, my channel and why it came about, and unique abilities that I have to offer. I am a claircognizance, which means clear knowing. It basically maybe you've heard this term empath. So I'm very strong at just knowing how people are feeling, situations that are happening, understanding the underlying motivations and reasons for it. I also am a clear sentient, so clear feeling, which means that I can feel energy off of people very easily. Whether they're sad, happy, if they're wearing a mask, why they're wearing a mask, if they're lying, why they're lying, what they're lying about. It doesn't always work, especially with people that are very close to me. But if I'm in a crowd, I can usually pick out who's hurting, why they're hurting. I also have precognition. So I have ability of knowing things before they happen. Sometimes it's dreams. Sometimes it's partly my clear cognizance or my clear sentience kicking in. I have a unique ability to be able to tell if somebody is suffering physically. And if death is coming down the road. I'll never know if it's not natural, but if it's natural, I generally can tell and will know before anything's been announced. So I'm not entirely sure what that is under. But call it what you will. I am also clear audience. I do hear things. I especially love cemeteries because I usually hear a lot of whispering there. And it's not usually urgent messages because I generally will get away from that area just because my clear cognizance is creeping in and I'm getting uncomfortable. I can feel, all the negativity involved with how they passed away. But for the most part, I can hear things. They're never loud, they're never negative. They're usually, hey, they need a hug, or I'll hear my name a lot. I'll hear conversations, but it takes that I'm not so good at. It does take a lot of concentration to get there. And I am a tarot reader, so I do tap into certain types of divination. I am a medium in that way. I get clear impressions of things that I'm seeing, but more so what I'm feeling, not what I'm hearing and seeing, just more so what I'm feeling. And I do scrying. How I got here is an unusual situation. So my grandmother passed away in 97, and when she passed away, she was in hospice, and it was a Thursday. I remember it clear as a bell, and I really felt like I wanted to go see her. Like, I felt that urge, I need to go see her. And I knew she was passing away, but that day was the urge was really strong, and I hadn't seen her that day at all. So, but it was 8 o'clock at night, and I did not realize, because I had no experience with hospice at the time, that meant I thought that you weren't allowed in after visiting hours. What I didn't know is that you are, as long as you call ahead. So I thought, well, I'll just go to sleep, and when I wake up in the morning, I'll go see Gigi. And I went to sleep that night. Well, I had, quote, a dream. It wasn't a dream. It was astral projection. And I was in this dark space with a tunnel. You know how when you turn a flashlight on in the dark and like the dust particles will create a tunnel of light? So I was in a tunnel of light with Gigi, my grandma, but it was like a bright white bluish light. And we weren't walking, we were kind of floating in this space, and off in the distance I could see this like bright light that was like trying to illuminate the darkness, and you could see like light beings walking around, just their silhouette, like way off in the distance. And Gigi and I were talking, and Gigi was wearing like an old time She was born in 1912, I believe. I hope I'm not wrong about that. But like an old-timey night robe, like I would say from like the 40s, 50s, you know, where it zipped up the front and was long to the ankle. And her hair was down. And the thing about Gigi is her hair was never down unless I was washing it. I'd never seen her with her hair not in a bun. And her hair was down and she looked younger. And Gigi died in her 90s, so she was fairly feeble when she passed away. But in this dream, she was very robust and quite a bit younger than that. I would say 50s, maybe 40s. But I knew she had passed away. And I knew we were in this space on our way to afterlife, whatever that might be for you. And I remember begging her not to go, but we were not talking using words. We were telepathically communicating in this space. And I do remember not wanting to leave. I wanted to go with her. That's why I was begging her not to go. It was really begging her not to go without me. And she was telling me, you know, it's not your time, Mary, so you need to go back. I need to go. This is something I need to do. And her last words were, I love you. And I woke up. But it wasn't waking up like, oh, like groggy. It was like, boom, all of a sudden my eyes were open and I was laying on my side and I was looking at the clock and it said 5:16 in the morning. I thought, wow, that was a really weird dream. So I let it go and just went back to sleep. Well, I got a phone call from my mother in the morning that she had passed away. And I realized then that I was given a gift. And the gift was realizing that this was my only place. Like my soul does not stop in this life. Which was dual fold. You know, double-edged sword. On one side of the coin, I was like, I just want to go back. Because I felt no pain there. It was utter love. I mean, you didn't feel anything bad. Nothing. No negativity, no self-doubt, no pain, no, you know, depression. Nothing. None of that. All you felt was like this all-consuming love and weightlessness. It was anyways, long story short, so I started looking into that. I started looking into the occult. I started looking into astral projection because I wanted to find out, you know, what it was I experienced. And then I moved to an area that predominantly, at least the group I knew in that area, predominantly was using occult practices. And in that, I kept feeling the urge to tarot and to use these gifts because I felt like, you know, I feel like a lot of empaths suffer. You know, it's a heavy burden to not just be able to have faith when you know what somebody's feeling about you and you know that that's human nature, but it still hurts. You're still human. You still have your self-doubt and your insecurities. So it hurts. You know, it's a hard pill sometimes. And the older you get, like I'm in my 40s now, and the older that I get, the more that I realize everybody's like this, including myself, and I need to get breaks. For myself, I need to stop letting that hurt me because I'm capable of the exact same things, and to not form a negative judgment on people because they're human and they're doing the same thing that everybody else does, including myself. So tarot is my outlet to try and help people understand that there are two sides to every coin, and while somebody's actions may be negative, that doesn't mean that they are. So I will leave it by saying that my mantra is in life is that it takes a rare person to be able to convince somebody that even if they're they've been in the wrong or are in the wrong, or somebody they know wronged them, that sometimes that doing wrong can actually be a sign that they're showing themselves to you, and it is a trust factor that you're not going to get with many people. I'd rather see somebody for who they are than see a mask, because they're afraid to show me who they are. But with that being said, I hope you guys subscribe and like my videos. I am always open to suggestions. I do keep a positive environment on my page. So if it's not a positive suggestion, please leave it somewhere else. I'll just delete it. But with that, love and light, take care, blessed be.